the country in recent times, so no, I'm acclimatised.
All right. There must be a few. Obviously, the team's out on tour. There must be a few fairly amusing things that have happened over the last 5 or 6 days since the team's been in the action. Who's got the good oil on some of the good stuff that's been happening? I heard a story the other day about a cow. Glenn, is something you want to elaborate on a bit more?
Oh yeah, we're staying in you'd fair to say it's a fairly nice hotel, and we pull up on the bus last night, and there's a cow just kind of tied to a lamppost down the street a little bit, and this is a really busy place. There's 5 million people here, and everything's on top of everyone, and people walking around. There's just this cow tied to a lamppost, and did you boys go down and check it out?
Yeah, it's me and Macca and Steve, I think.
Yeah, Crocky will finish off the story, but it was...
we come down and the cow was tied to the lamppost, and its neck was pretty much tied to the bottom of the lamppost, so it was in a really weird standing position. It didn't look very comfortable at all. It was basically pretty cruel how it was tied there, and it wasn't the best looking specimen either. It was pretty
lean,
skinny little cow, but yeah, Macca went up and talked to the local Egyptians, and they mentioned that it was going to be on the menu tonight in that restaurant, so they were going to serve up some steaks.
Up for the slaughter, eh?
Yeah.
Outside the restaurant.
Outside the restaurant.
Solid.
But at least you know it's fresh. You got to look at the glass half full, I guess.
Well, the thing that concerns me is we had steak for dinner tonight, so fairly good chance we ate it or its mate.
Yeah, for sure. Was it drinking out of the gutter?
What else has been happening? Anyone just had a complete shocker and just...
Oh, we found out Stevie Kent's Mr. Gore's pockets, haven't we?
Is that right?
Yeah.
doesn't want to get his Egyptian pounds out?
Oh, he sure is. He
loves it, eh? Old moth wallet.
Yeah, a few times the old bill comes out when Rhino's all around. The old bill comes out, and it's time for the boys to pay. And he either does another story about this, but he does the old just disappearing act. Doesn't really cop up, does he? And the other one, actually, funny that he's an Australian. You've heard of the Australian haka. It happened quite a bit in Singapore. Scott never seemed to have the currency. Oh no, I've only got this, I've only got that. And the amount of times we had to cop up for him as well.
Is that right?
I do the Aussie haka. He owes Jules, close on £1,000, which divide by 4 or 5. That's a fairly substantial amount of money just from doing the Aussie haka. Him and Corey have a few stealths going on too, so they're setting each other up, stealing each other's money and locking each other out.
Yeah, I've heard there's some interesting wake-up calls going on as well in their room. Apparently, it's
yeah, you want to be mindful of that if you ever go in there. By the way, just throwing it out to the guys in earshot.
All right. If we start to think about look at the competition coming up. Obviously, the World Champs, it doesn't get any bigger than that. It's the pinnacle event for surf lifesaving in the world.
I'll stop you there. We actually just introduced Chelsea Maples to coffee as well.
Oh, that's probably worth that's probably worth a story in itself.
It is, mate. It is. They're having this morning.
Turkish coffee.
Walked into breakfast where, of all people, Scott and Corey, coach and assistant coach, are sitting there at breakfast. The only team member to make it to breakfast so far was Chelsea, and she's sitting there with a Turkish coffee, which is kind of like an espresso, very small, very...
Quite gluggy, isn't it?
Very, rich.
But they pour the beans in
very
afterwards.
Strong.
Yeah, very strong coffee. You should have seen the way she walked is a loose term, out of breakfast. She started talking, and if anyone knows the way Chelsea talks to begin with...
She's been known for being quite chatty.
Yeah, she talks with haste. Can you give us an interpretation, Rach?
Hi, how's it going? How are you guys today? Shall I go to the beach?
That was terrible, but yeah, something like that. And
it's more just like you can't.
It's just it sped up until almost a point where it became one high-pitched line of just noise, and I'm not sure there's any variation in tone there at all. At which point I think she stated she was going to get ready to go somewhere
for a training session.
And she stood up and she made it to the elevator in less than 2 seconds, pushed the button and realised it wasn't going to be time, and ran up the stairs, never to be seen again.
She ran up the stairs.
She
bounced up the stairs.
Straight up the stairs.
And the next thing we heard was she was locked in the women's toilet.
Yeah, that's right. And then she was locked in the women's toilet at the beach house.
But not when she locked in there. She was in there for about 5 to 10 minutes. But she was the door had just become a little bit jammed. But she thought she was locked. So Yeah,
Oh.
no.
She's clever.
Bless her.
Yeah.
So Chelsea's had an interesting, eventful morning.
She's learning things.
She's just crashed in bed now. She'll wake up Wednesday sometime.
Although she has told me she's a huge fan of coffee. Now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Now, just on the Scott Bartlett thing in Singapore, I understand from the team that they're pretty happy to see manager Paul Ryan when they were up in Egypt. Is that true?
Oh yeah, he was the old. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the old Abbo Hutchings went walkabout all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, he'd go walkabout. So Scott would be left dealing with us, and you know, they kind of play jokes on each other all the time. So they're happy to see the back end of each other during the day.
I can actually see both of them right now across the lobby ordering ice cream.
Movenpick.
Those fat bastards.
But you safe
Ren and Stimpy, eh?
to say Scott battled as far as the manager goes. Yeah, he did a really good job, but it's more not as a team manager, but you know, the boys give him a little bit of stick.
He loves it.
He loves it.
So a couple of days out before game day, what goes through you guys are top end athletes? What goes through your head? Glenn, you've been here four times before. Number 5 coming up.
Yeah, it's been fairly standard over the last couple of days. We were here a couple of days for everyone else, which was quite fortunate for us. But as the other teams start to turn up, you check out the competition, and you get a little bit nervous when everyone else turns up, and you kind of know the people that you're going to be racing, and size them up as their training as well. And just like everyone's sizing us up, we're a team that other countries sort of look at when we're doing things as well, and sort of see what we're up to. Just like when we're at the pool, the top teams, the Italians, the Australians, they come to the pool, and you get through those nerves for the first bits, and then that calms down. It's good to get through it before race day. But we've got a actually pretty experienced team this time around, and we're doing what we have to do. We're doing our things right. Everyone's really, really healthy, which is I guess an important thing. Everyone's fit, everyone's healthy. No one's gone down in the start racing in a couple of days' time. So touch wood, that's a pretty awesome thing.
Absolutely. Kev, how well do you know these guys? Obviously everyone talks about New Zealand and Australia. It's the biggest rivalry in surf lifesaving. There are other teams there, clearly. The Chinese have come on, the Germans are there. The Italians are very, very strong. But obviously it has tended to come down to New Zealand and Australia. How well do you guys know these Australian guys that you compete against?
Very well, very well. Obviously the guys only Croffy and Moody are the two in the male team that went in Germany 2 years ago, and essentially Australia has the same team that they had in Germany 2 years ago. So we have raced them at a World Champs before. Myself specifically, I raced against Shannon Eckstein, Downey Langthorne, and Chris Allen in my main races. So I've raced against him before. Shannon is sort of my biggest competitor, I guess, and he will be for a lot of us at the beach. He's generally considered the world's best for a reason.
Yep.
And he trains out of North Cliff Surf Club on the Gold Coast, same as I do. So, he's actually become a very good friend there, and which is great. Having a guy like that to train with and train against. And it also means that I know him and his racing and paddling very well.
Yep.
So yeah, I think there's no secrets. They are the world champions for a reason.
Yep.
We're under no illusions as a team. This is going to be a hard task, but a task I think we're definitely up for. I know for a fact they're watching us, with a little hint of, what are the Kiwis going to fire at us this time? They know that we came that close last time, but for a few incidences, it could have been a very different story.
Yep.
And so the sort of the mutual respect goes both ways, I think. And but yeah, as I say, we're under no illusions. They are the world champions for a reason.